Hello everyone and welcome to our new monthly recap for the month of August with none other than the man behind the code himself, Dexaran. Welcome today for another round of all the news concerning the Dex223 for this month. How are you today?
Hello, I'm fine, and let's start with a small recap of what was done during this month. We don't have any major updates this time. This was a busy month, but mostly with normal development routines, I would say. And we are moving towards the launch of the platform. We are finalizing all the stuff, and let's go through the main points one by one. So first and the most important thing is margin trading contracts. We have started the implementation. We have two competing versions. Currently, the difference between them is that the process of landing order creation is different. There are two approaches. One is to initialize the order variables at the moment of the creation. This means when you are creating the order as a user, you will pay for all the variables that you set there. So you provide the assets, you select which types of tokens the borrower can trade with these assets, you select the fee which is required to take a loan from your order. You set the currency limits and all this stuff. And you will do this at the moment of the order creation. And if you need to create the second order, you will do it once again. And therefore, you will pay for gas in full scale during all these operations. And the second version of the margin trading is where you don't need to create all these variables inside each order, but you instead create a template for the order. And when the order is getting initialized, these templates are used. So if you need to create many orders, you can just create one template for them, write down all the variables there, and just use it for all the orders, and they will be identical. With one exception, you can deposit different amount of money in each of these orders. And this is beneficial for others because if someone wants to create the same order as yours, they can just use your template and they will be good. The first version, where you need to initialize all the details in each order, is more user-friendly, I would say. The process of creating the order in the interface will be much more convenient for the user in this case, but it cannot be as gas efficient as templates in some cases, and this is a problem. And also we have problems with smart contracts managing its internal data. And the second version can be more gas efficient, and it is easier to implement, but it will be more difficult for users to interact with. So we have two competing versions, and we will test them. And I would say that for the networks where gas issues are not as significant as on Ethereum, we can use a different version. So maybe we will use one for Ethereum and other for other chains.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah. So margin trading is being worked on. We are currently working on the smart contracts. Margin trading interface templates are mostly completed, but it doesn't actually mean that we are done, because if something will change in the contracts, it obviously need to change in the interface, and the interface implementation is not yet in progress. We just have the Figma templates, and they are mostly completed. You will be able to see them in the Figma that I will publish in the written report, as always. So that's it for the margin trading contracts. The second important step that was almost finalized is listing UI. It is almost completed. The most significant part of the work is already done. I need to clarify that I'm talking about the auto listing contracts UI mostly. We also have the page that describes all types of listing on Dex223. I need to remind that there are 3 main methods of listing assets on Dex223. The default list you need to apply to our team, most likely through GitHub. The process will be transparent. And we as a team will review applications and decide whether we need to add some token to the default list or not. The second is getting listed in the token lists. Token lists this is a project by Uniswap, and token lists are held by entities in our ecosystem, like CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko. They have all the token lists, and if you get there, then all the users who will enable these token lists in their Dex223 UI, they will be able to see your token. And the third version is a listing through the auto listing contracts. You don't need to interact with us. You don't need to interact with anyone. You just read the documentation of the contract. You select your contract that you want to list your token in, and you either just call a function in the contract if it is free, or you need to pay some listing fee, fixed fee in the listing contract, and you will be able to list your token to this auto listing contract. And if users will have this auto listing contract enabled in their UI, they will be able to see your new token, most likely in few hours. The contract do not feed data to the front end of the exchange in real time, but with some sort of delay, this new listed token will appear on the interface of all the users. And the contracts are ready. They are ready for 1 month or so. They are completed a long time ago. And you can also test this on the Sepolio testnet. They are live. Our test interface is updated. I don't see this live currently, but it will be updated in a few days. So we will merge these changes to the live test version of Dex223. Okay, I see that we have auto listing contracts in the interface integrated already, but you don't have the listing UI. So you should list your assets through the smart contract. Smart contract is already live on Sepolia, and the assets will appear in the test UI of Dex223, but you need to interact with the smart contract manually. You can do this through the interface. And this is exactly what will be merged in the Dex223 test version in a few days. Now you will be able to list your tokens through the interface as well. I don't think that this is like very important feature for the project in general, because the smart contracts are mostly for developers. And if you were able to somehow create a token and deploy it on Ethereum mainnet, you can learn how to interact with smart contracts and at least call a function, even without the interface. But this is a backup option. And we are trying to make all these features as accessible as we can, so that everyone with even the minimal knowledge of Solidity and smart contracts can interact with it. So that's it for the listing UI. And it will go live, most likely, on Friday. Now,
perfect.
The smart contracts received a minor update. We are just moving towards the deployment phase. the smart contracts are mostly completed from the interface side, I would say. So the binary interface of the smart contracts will not change in the future, most likely, but the internals of the smart contracts are not fully suitable for the production. There are some security checks which are missing in the test version, which is live on Sepolia currently. We are slowly adding this small stuff to the smart contracts. This is not a big task, but it needs to be done. It needs to be added. It needs to be tested. And this is what we are doing right now. And we will redeploy all the contracts prior to the deployment in September or October. So we will release a new test version of Dex223 in September. And at this point, this will be a version which will undergo the bug bounty and security audit. So stay tuned for the bug bounty. It is coming. Now, as we are moving to the launch stage, we have a huge task of documenting the contracts for the security audit. Because the better your documentation, the higher the chances of auditors finding any inconsistencies, reporting bugs, or finding any problems with your contracts. I was a security auditor, and I know how important it is to have all this, I would say, papers available for you to read. And what we are doing currently is we are completing the code. We need to comment all the stuff that we added ourselves. Our contracts are mostly based on Uniswap version 3, but there are significant changes to the workflow, and all the stuff that was made for the ERC-223 tokens is not part of Uniswap, and it works completely differently. So we need to improve the documentation. We need to comment the code. We need to comment all the security features and checks that we are adding to the test version currently. And after this, we will proceed to the security audit. And this is the work which is currently done with the smart contract. So we are mostly preparing for the launch. Now, we have some backend improvements. Subgraph was updated for the listing contracts. So the subgraph learned how to pull the data from the auto listing contracts. Most likely, we will pull the data once in few hours, which means that after you have listed a new asset to an auto listing contract, it will emit some event, and this event will be recognized by the subgraph. And once it's recognized, it will feed it to the interfaces of all the users who have this smart contract enabled in their UI. And this happens within some time frame. And this is how it will work most likely in Dex223. So our backend currently supports the listing contracts, and I don't think that anything will change significantly in this direction. So we are mostly done with the auto listing. Now, as we are talking about the UI, we are working on mobile versions. We have some minor fixes. We will have a guidelines page where we will store all the articles that will be written about Dex223 and all the guidelines that we will have. So this is being done. The borrow land pages are in progress. I need to clarify that design templates are in progress. We are not yet working on the implementation of the margin trading feature, and the margin trading feature and margin trading smart contracts will most likely come after the main deployment of the Dex223. So we will not have this feature enabled by default as the launch of the project. It will come in few months later after the core contracts are deployed. And the margin trading is a risky feature. It is very important for us to make sure that everything works as planned. And this is there are some bottlenecks that can cause problems. So we will focus on margin trading security, and we will spend more time on this rather than we need to spend on making sure that the core smart contracts work as intended. That's why margin trading will undergo more security-related processes, and it will all take time. So margin trading will come with a delay. We have identified a flaw in the trust rating system. This was in our Dex223 implemented already, and this is related to tokens with similar names. We are trying to make Dex223 as automated as possible, which means it should work almost without our team interactions on any other chain that it can be deployed to. And it is possible that people will create tokens with similar names. And in most situations, it can be a problem. Because if you have two tokens called USDT, for example, on Ethereum, most likely you are in a situation where one token is true USDT and the other is scam. And someone is trying to pretend that they are USDT. They are trying to convince you to buy these tokens with real money. You are actually buying tokens that are worth nothing because they are not real USDT and nobody accepts them. But you are paying real money for them. Or you are giving the seller some kind of token or asset which is valuable, and they are scamming you in such a way. And we need to avoid this situation, so we are marking these tokens with similar names as suspicious. We are calculating the trust rating. The trust rating is based on listing contracts and the default token list. So if one token is in the default token list and the other is not, then the default token will have higher trust rating, and therefore users will be able to identify which token is scam and which is not. And the trust rating system is developed in such a way that it can be done almost automatically without our team. We hope it will work because nobody.
Sure, but it's going to be very helpful. Yeah, it's going to be very helpful for the users to easily see it. That's great.
The problem here is that most exchanges and other teams are relying on some sort of manual control over this process, and they are just labeling tokens themselves. They are doing the investigation, and they are deciding which one is true and which one is real and which one is not. And they are marking suspicious tokens by people who either responsible for this or people who vote on these tokens. And we need to eliminate the people from this process. Maybe we will have some sort of alternative trust rating system where people will actually vote on tokens, and most likely Dex223 token holders, not just everyone. But in Dex223, we are currently trying to make this system completely automated. And here is the challenge. And the flaw that we addressed is that the situation that I described with USDT and the two tokens having the same name, it can happen naturally. For example, on Ethereum, there are some tokens which have different names, but their denomination and how it's called, the symbol of the token, the ticker, are the same. They have different names, but tickers are the same. And when you see this in your token list, you can you cannot identify which token is which, and you see two suspicious tokens. So we needed to address this weird situation, and there are some core modifications to the trust rating system algorithms in Dex223 done in order to address exactly this. I will most likely describe how the trust rating system works in the written report, and it will be completely transparent. The algorithms will be published as all our source codes. There is no secrecy in this system, but it is currently a little bit imperfect, and we are fixing it. So I think that's it for this monthly recap. I have covered most of the important milestones for this month. So we are currently moving towards the launch phase. We are finalizing the core features of the platform, and we are starting the work on the margin trading contracts and the interface for the margin trading. But this is our secondary objective. The first one is to prepare the platform for the launch, and there are still some big tasks, and the main task for us is to prepare and pass the security audit and make sure that everything works as intended. We have fixed most of the UI bugs, and I've published the bug fixing list in the document in the report that I wrote in the previous month. So that's it.
And that's already a lot. I'm sure the community appreciates all the hard work of your team. It seems like it's been a busy month developing the whole project, which aims to be so monumental. Your community often asks, is so the deadline of September and October, do you think it will be met? So maybe the beginnings of October is more realistic.
Yes, I would say that the beginning of October is more realistic date, maybe even mid-October. This all depends on the results of the security audits, how much time it will take, how much issues will be reported, whether we need to update something, or if some critical issues will be reported, then we will delay the launch significantly until it's fixed. And if critical issue is reported, then you fix it and you apply for another security audit, and it will be a long process. In all other situations, we will not apply for the second security audit. So this depends on the results of this security process.
Okay. And one of the community questions that we gathered for this month was, and perhaps an easy one, do people need to have Ethereum on hand to cover gas fees when converting Dex223 token to Dex223 on Ethereum?
You need to stay tuned for the final updates from our side. Most likely you will need to have some gas. You will need to claim your tokens on the Ethereum side, and you will need Callisto to cover the gas fees on Callisto chain. But we don't have the rules defined yet, and we need to calculate how much of the small token holders we have. We actually have this calculation, but the gas fees on Ethereum decreased currently, and if they decreased sufficiently, then we will cover this for you. We will just send all the tokens manually. We have all the lists of people who hold their D223 token on Ethereum, on Callisto chain, and if it will not cost us a significant amount of funds comparable to the amount of funds that we raised on Callisto chain, then we will just send it to you. But this depends on how Ethereum gas prices will perform in the next few weeks.
Of course, but that's very much appreciated, I'm sure. And regarding the launch of the platform and regarding staking and, well, the gold staking actually, will be available right from the platform's launch, or is that coming later?
No, it will come later, most likely with the margin trading release. So in a few months. If there will be some trading profits made right from the start, it will be accumulated in some account and redistributed once the staking system is launched for the 223 tokens. But most likely, we will just go with 0 fees period. So during the launch, there will be no fees for trades. And
All right.
this is currently being discussed within the team. We need to prepare for the launch phase, and not only from technical side, but also we need to attract token developers. We need to start speaking to the teams. We already have some discussions going. So we need to focus on onboarding development teams, like token development teams and projects that want to list the assets with us.
Of course.
And we need to do all this stuff. So we need to figure out if we want to give them some sort of attraction bonuses during the launch phase.
Of course. And regarding the launch phase for Dex223, what can the user expect as features when the platform goes live? And when can they get a chance also to test these features as soon as possible?
During the launch, we will only have the core features available. This includes trading, the normal swapping of assets that you can do currently on Sepolia testnet. You will be able to trade tokens in both standards, in ERC20 and ERC223. We also need to finalize the token converter and push its AI on Ethereum to the final stage. And I think we need to focus on this in September, because it will easily take 1 month to finalize it. And so regarding the Dex223 features, the trading in 2 standards, providing liquidity. Providing liquidities will already have built-in fees system. So liquidity providers will have the rewards paid. The listing contracts will work right from the start. We will have auto listing contracts, 2 of them, the free one and the paid auto listing contract. Paid auto listing contract will accumulate the listing fees, and these fees will be redistributed among Dex223 token holders once the staking system is launched. And that's it for the initial release.
That's already a lot.
That's the basic functionality of the exchange, and this basically the features of Uniswap and the support of ERC-223 Token Standard on top of this, and the auto listing contract.
Wow, perfect. One question we had also from the community, we've heard about it a lot, but how is the application going for DEFCON 7? Any updates to share?
Yeah. We have submitted 2 applications, one from ERC223 speaker and one from Dex223 team. DEFCON announced that they will publish the results at the end of September. And we didn't receive a reply from them yet. So we are still waiting. We saw that they will clarify who will be a speaker on August, but it seems they can't handle it. They have a lot of applications this time, which is not that great for us. The less applications we have, the higher the chance that our application will go as normal. The good thing is that we are applying in the least popular categories. We are applying as core, coordination, security, and those are the least popular topics on Ethereum, which means those are not the least popular topics. They are topics that the least number of speakers is applying on.
But that gives you a
And
good chance to participate then. So
yeah,
that's a good strategy.
yeah.
And also
there
regarding
are quite few core developers and core protocol improvement speakers. A lot of the people are applying as layer 2, marketing related, and all this general crypto stuff, not just core protocols.
Of course. So globally, what's the team's approach for deciding which conference or events to attend, how to find them, which ones? What can you say about that?
Well, I think that we need to attract developers, and Dex223 is not a project in a vacuum. It's a project which is related to the security standards topic, which is going on Ethereum for 7 years already. We are part of it, so Ethereum is our main focus currently. So we definitely need to be present in Ethereum community where all these discussions are being discussed. We also want to give Dex223 some kind of exposure. So we will evaluate which conferences will give us more access to investors and people who are mostly focused on financial side, not just crypto in general and not technical stuff. I think we will publish some sort of statement from us after the situation with DevCon will clarify, because this mostly depends on the results of our presentation on DevCon. Unfortunately, most of the conferences cannot wait until we will become speaker and make our presentation there, or we will not make it. So we need to define the strategy before we will actually have the information, which is quite a bad situation. But we will have all these discussions in the team internally during this week and next week. We will define the strategy for the launch stage of Dex223, the approach, and obviously the budget that we need to allocate to attract liquidity providers, to attract projects that can list their tokens, and all these things. And after this is done, we will proceed to more generalized marketing strategies. And all these conferences belong to the marketing strategies, obviously. So we'll discuss it there. And we will publish the conclusions that we will make after all this stuff is sorted out, because we can't move with defining the strategy before we know the amount of funds that we have to allocate for this.
I understand, yeah, perfectly. Well, that was all the community questions that we've had from the community for this month. And we also remember in this recording on YouTube that you as a user can go at any time on the Telegram channel and ask your questions for the next monthly recap with Dexaran, and it will be my pleasure to ask the question directly. And that was it from the community questions. If you have some final remarks regarding the progress for this month, or maybe what to expect for the next ones, you can go ahead, Dexaran. Thank you so far for all the information.
Thank you, everyone. I would say that I will publish the written development report on 4th September as planned. It will contain some more technical information if you are interested, so you can review it there. It will describe the
trust rating system algorithms, and it will provide some documents and Figma templates that you can take a look on, and all the development related files and documents will be available. So you can even take some of them and use in your own projects if you would like to. We are publishing the source code. I will say that we have reorganized the GitHub so you can navigate our projects repositories easier now. It will also be reflected in the report. So stay tuned. And if you are looking for some project where you can earn some funds, wait for the bug bounty, and you can participate and you will be paid if you will find some bugs. The most important part of the bug bounty will be smart contracts. It will be handled before the security audits. So bug bounty first.
And while you are on YouTube, remember to subscribe to our channel of Dex223 to find all new tutorials and recaps we have planned for you right here. Thank you for attending today, Dexaran, and we'll see you at the next monthly recap for the month of September then.